Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Nerdy Jock. If you're watching this, I want to give you my deepest thanks and appreciation. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. So let's jump right into some of the topics I want to talk about today. The main one being the latest two episodes of Daredevil. They released two um, new ones, and I have to say they were really good. They were amazing. They're really not only meeting my expectations but exceeding them this season so far. And what they've been able to do with Daredevil, what they've been able to do with the plot of Fisk being mayor, it's just been incredible. And so the second episode, the first of the two new releases, um, we start off with seeing the aftermath of the incident where Matt was over. Is it Cherry? I'm not good with names, but the ex detective he's been that's been helping him after they were attacked by the anti vigilante task force, and we see two vehicles, two separate um, transport vehicles. One's the ambulance for the detective, and the other one's the coroner's van for the dead bodies. And we see Matt in this beautiful, beautiful shot, this just classic shot of Daredevil on top of the rooftops looking down. Amazing shot. Oh god, it's such a beautiful image. Like ripped right out of a comic book. And he's standing there. He's touching the knife that Bullseye threw that said, "You're welcome" on it. After he shot those task force officers, and then we see that Fisk is participating in some type of celebrity boxing match, and so he's boxing with like this trainer. And then his new Wesley comes in and says, "Hey, listen, you know, here's what happened. Daredevil got away. The detective's still alive. We got like 6, 7 different task force officers dead." And so, the trainer, kind of a dick. He's like, "Hey, I said like 30 seconds. Get up. Yeah, are you quitting on me? You don't seem like a quitter." And because he just got bad news, and this guy is being kind of an asshole to him, Wilson Fisk just gets enraged. Hey, Terry. And he just hits this guy, and he literally flies across the room. There's like mirrors in the room, and he crashes into the mirror, and there's blood all over the place. It's it's classic Kingpin, but a really good uh opening. And then we see um more of the propaganda videos, um you know going against Fisk. We see um we see a lot of Bullseye, but it's very odd. We see him go to the church, the church that Matt frequented, and we see him ask for Matthew's mother, and the person there is like, "I'm sorry, but she's on sabbatical. She's in another country doing, work over there." And so Bullseye's like, um, basically saying, "Can I do like, I need to confess." And the guy's like, "Well, I'm not a priest, but I can, maybe listen to you." And the Bullseye just had this, like, this omnious, this just he smiles. When Bullseye smiles, it's never a good thing. And it's just, we don't really know what happened, what his agenda, what his goal is there. It's just very strange. But it's part of the course for Bullseye. And then we see that they find out that the propaganda video for Fisk is basically everyone knows about it. And they go to, the young kid, and they ask him about it, like, hey, what's going on with this video? Like, what's do you know about it? What are you doing about it? You got to show him, because if you don't show him, he's going to think you're trying to hide it. And he's like, listen, I got it. Don't worry about it. I'm going to figure it out. And he's a smart kid. He comes to the conclusion it's probably BB. But he really likes her, so he doesn't want to outright say, hey, this is BB. She already wrote the one bad article about Fisk. So, if she does it again, he might go after her. So he's trying to cover for her. So we know this is, of course, James Gandolfini's son. We know he's really trying to cover for BB, because he's, like I said, he's a smart kid. He kind of already figured it out. He already put the pieces together. But we see also this dichotomy and this growing, I would say, what's the right word? Not a split, but Matt and Karen, their philosophical viewpoints are becoming more and more strained. Matthew, we know, is a ardent Christian, Catholic. He's very devoted in his faith. And so killing for him is a mortal sin and never acceptable. Which is why when he threw Bullseye off the roof and he thought he had killed him, it hurt Matt. So, even though he didn't kill him, he knew what his intentions were. He thought he had killed him when he threw him off the roof. And even though he learned that he didn't, that was his intention. He had full intent to kill him. And so, knowing what his intentions were, hurt Matt. Because he has a strict, kind of like Batman, but Batman's more abstract, if you will. Where Matthew's a little bit more like, I don't kill because I'm a Catholic and it's against my religion. I don't believe in killing. And this is something he still maintains. Whereas Karen, and she even mentions, Frank Castle, the Punisher, says, yeah, his way works though. Because the bad guys that he killed, they're not hurt anyone anymore. They're dead. And she's like, we should be killing Fisk. We should be killing Bullseye. We should be killing, maybe not everybody, maybe not all the task force members, because some of these guys aren't necessarily evil. They're just guys just doing a job. But if you kill Fisk, you kill the head, the task force completely. Even most of the task force guys are just really malevolent, insidious, cruel, and horrid human beings that are doing this for a power trip, just to hurt and go after others they deem lesser than they are. So, and of course, this becomes a little bit of a strife between them. We see the detective in the hospital, and the task force comes. They're coming to kill the guy. but he has all his old pals all kind of around him in a room. They kind of challenge him, like, "What are you gonna do? We're here. Go ahead, do something." And so they leave. The two task force guys, they leave. They're like, "Hey, we need backup," because there's like 7 of them, 2 of us. And as they're going down the elevator, Bullseye kills both of them. They come back, with more task force members, and they're gone. They move them. They're not stupid. They know, listen, either they're going to come kill him or we're going to get in a shootout with him. Now, that's not going to end well for anybody. And it ends with them coming to Josie's place, going after Matt, as we saw in the trailer with the sound effects, and Matt hears that, like, that, what do you call it? Like that deafening sound. And they try to arrest Josie, but Matt goes and basically is able to knock out all the task force members. Is able to save Josie. Tells her, get the hell out of here. Go find somewhere safe. I'm trying to remember. So the next episode, my favorite episode so far. I don't know if it was this one or that one. I watched them together, one right after the other. Well, one of the episodes, if you remember, White Tiger, his niece, her and I think it's her Tia, are out and like this bodega, and they're there and they're having this conversation, and of course the niece is talking about how she looked up to her uncle and what he did was right. And Tia was like, "Nah, your Tia was selfish and stupid, and what he did was wrong." But then his niece is like, "Yeah, but Vigilante saved my life, so it can't be all bad." They go in this bodega, and these 3 kids, young kids, stupid punk kids, and they're stealing like some alcohol, beer or wine or whatever it is. And the niece is like, "Hey, knock it the hell off, put it away." And her Tia's like, "Hey, put it away, knock it off. You steal from here, and that affects all of us because then prices go up. And this is our neighborhood. You can't be doing that. Put it away." And then the owner, he takes out like a shotgun, which is kind of a extreme response to someone stealing a bottle of beer, or whatever. But also you can see how someone could be fed up if you was getting robbed. So you put out a shotgun. He's like, "Hey," because when you put out a shotgun, because he cocks it and they drop the bottle, he's like, "You're gonna clean that shit up. Like, you're gonna clean this up." And the Tia is like, "Hey, listen, calm down. Like, yeah, they're dumb kids, but they're still just kids. They're stupid kids. Like, calm down." When the task force shows in, they pistol whip the store owner, and they start arresting the kids. And the Tia's like, "No, no, no, knock it off. Like, they're just dumb kids." Like, but when she grabs the task force, they arrest her. And so they take her away. They take the store owner away for taking the law into his own hands, basically being a vigilante. And the niece is seeing all this. And she goes to the lawyer's office and says, "Do you have my Tio's, my Tio's costume that he wore?" She's like, "Yeah, we have it. Like, your Tia didn't really want it." And she's like, "I want to see it." So she goes in, it's there, and she takes it. And we're setting her up to be the new White Tiger, which I love that. I think that's amazing. And then Another important thing that happens is the lawyer, what's her name, the one to work with Matthew. She basically told, hey, by the way, your client, this is a swordsman, your client's trial, yeah, has been moved up. It's like in like 2 days. And they finally let her go see him. But when she goes see them, she wears like big like blinder goggles where she can't see where she's at. And she sees them and she's like, hey, listen, you had your trial's in like 2 days. I don't really have much of a defense for you because I didn't have the time. This is the first time we're talking. So you fast forward, you see the trial, and you can tell the judges have been bought off or threatened or whatever. But they already have this look on their face like, yeah, we already know how this is going to go. So they do. And the lawyer even tries to like fight on behalf of her client and say, hey, this isn't right. You can give me time for a defense. You can give me time to do anything. And they're like, listen, you're going to be in contempt of court. Shut up. And the trial goes. Of course, they find him guilty. But Matthew goes and finds her and says, can you tell me where this facility was? And she's like, I didn't see anything, but I can tell you what I heard and everything else. He's like, Matt kind of smiles and says, that's fine with me. That's actually better. So him and Karen basically go and he breaks into this facility. That's another thing. When in the end of the last episode, when they attack Karen and them at Josie's, the beginning of the third episode, we see that Karen basically kidnapped this task force member. And he like, cuffed up and tied to a chair. And Matthew's like, what the hell are you doing? She's like, listen, I think he can help us. So Daredevil's interrogating them. And he's like, listen, I'm with you guys. What Fisk is doing is evil, but we already know if we try to go against him, we're going to go missing. So I have no choice, but I'm going to help you any way I can because I don't agree with what's going on. And Matt's, you know how Matt is. He's like, yeah, he's telling the truth. So he's like, hey, I'm going to knock you out. You can tell your buddies you just got beat up by me. Yeah, they're going to obviously believe it. Don't worry about it. And so he said, wait, before you do that, I have a card, my pocket right here. He's like, go in my pocket. There's a card. That card will get you into the facility where they're keeping the prisoners. He's like, but you got to hurry up because that card changes daily at like midnight, whatever. So fast forward, that's how Matt gets in the facility. He used that card from that task force member. He gets in there and he sees obviously firsthand, you know what I mean? He realizes firsthand that it's not just vigilantes. These are people who Fisk has some type of personal agenda against, that for whatever reason they wronged him or they pissed him off. These are everyday regular people. And the task force comes in and it's him and the swordsman and this amazing fight scene or just fighting them and they're fighting off the task force members, and that's a couple of different times the task force is like use lethal force, and like Matt's like, lethal force? These are civilians. Like, as me, the swordsman, I mean, sure, that's what we signed up for, but these are regular people. So they're trying to fight, and then you see Karen waiting in a car, and she sees someone moving around. She's like, she got a gun. She's like, listen, I'm about to just kill you. Tell me who the hell you are. And that's when White Tiger's niece comes in, and she's like, hey, listen, I'm here to help. Please, let me help. So they take like a big armored truck, because as they're coming out of the facility or coming out where they were being held, the task force is just, shooting, just unloading the guns on them. And so the armored truck comes up and they stop for a second. Like, is that a friendly? Are they here to help us out? When they realize it isn't, they're like, okay, no, keep shooting. And they keep shooting it up. And, but luckily they were getting there. They drive off, they rescue everyone. And it's so cool. And at some point in time, the little niece, the new White Tiger, slashed the tires of the guards, of the task force members, so they can't even follow them. So they're like, shit. And the episode ends with, if you remember in the very first episode, Matthew Little's character was like, hey, have people go unload the North Star and then blow them all up. And Fisk is like, those are my guys. Like, I can't blow that many men. And he's like, well, I know some workers, they're expendable. Let's have them do it and we can kill them. You don't lose any men. And that's basically what happens. After everyone's clear, Fisk is, gets the call, and he's like, you know what? This salvage something from this whole mess. Kill those guys so that we have at least one loose end wrapped up. And they do. They blow it all up. And as Matt and Karen are driving away, they see the huge explosion. And Matt's like, all those men are dead. And it's just, and that's how the episode ends. There's a few other points. We get this amazing cut scene that's cut together of Matthew and Karen, and then Fisk and Vanessa, and they're talking. They're both having a very similar conversation of, let's just leave. Karen's like, let's leave. Vanessa's like, just leave. Let's just leave New York. And you see both Fisk and Matthew like, go where? This is my home. New York's our home. And I thought it was such a great scene. And it was cut so very well. And you see them just talking, and you see how they both, very differently, but they both see themselves as people there to save and help and protect New York. And it was so well. Oh, it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. This is such a good show. I love what they're doing with it. I love that action scene with the swordsman and Daredevil just kicking the task force member's ass was amazing. I love it. Now, one thing I want to mention, I don't want to spend very long on this because I don't want to get too into the weeds. It's not lost on me that the task force is supposed to represent how ICE is operating. And I want to say this. I know people who I love were lifelong Republicans. And they support and have supported every Republican politician, whether it be president, congressperson, whomever. And that's I don't think people realize how difficult that can be to switch ideologies over something that you believed and something that you supported for so many years. But seeing what's going on, one of the things that Republicans always scream about is think of the children. Anytime something happens, whether it's about gay rights, trans rights, whether it's about protesting injustice, like what about the children? You could be hurting children, but it's never a specific instance where a child was hurt. It was this arbitrary what if. But ICE and what they're doing, there's no arbitrary. There's no instance of children being hurt. There's no what if. There's no mystical child that's being hurt but nobody can see or knows about. Children are not only being hurt, in some cases dying. People are being killed. Instead of holding them accountable, they're lying to us about stuff we see on the video. Excuse me. And like somebody else said, and he said much more eloquently than I could, but affectionately what he said was, if they're willing to lie about what we see on the video, imagine what they lied to us about what we don't see. And people complain about the similarities, But you shouldn't be complaining about it. You should be upset about it. You should feel sick about it that a real life government agent, law enforcement agency is operating like a sanctioned law enforcement agency by a corrupt, literal comic book villain, and they're doing the same thing. That should bring a lot of that should highlight a lot. That should tell you a lot. But and I'm hoping more people realize this and more people speak out and more people say that this isn't right. What's going on? And I just wanted to say that because it's not. And I know that's stating the obvious, but sometimes the obvious must be stated, and it must be not just stated for you know uh, any other reason. Then we need to keep on saying it. So words are power, and we keep on saying it over and over and over again. It's when we stop saying it and we're like, oh, well, it's so obvious now. We said it so many times, let's just give up. And I don't think that's what we should do. We should keep saying the obvious thing that ICE is a malevolent and insidious agency who are filled with a bunch of thugs. And then, at least with the police, you can say, hey, they're there to protect us and help us. With them, they're there for one reason, that's to destroy lives. And they need to be stopped. And we should never stop stating the obvious. But that's my short little soapbox moment. One other thing we talk about that that blew me away. This Supergirl trailer. The first one I liked, I enjoyed it. This new one I loved. I own I've read the Tom King book, and someone else said this, and it's very true. A lot of times they'll adapt a comic book story, Days of Future Past, Civil War, but they're much different from the comic book. They're similar in name and they're similar in the most basic plot points, but everything else, the intricacies are extremely different. I was pleasantly surprised by how faithful this adaptation is to the book, minus Lobo, because Lobo isn't in there, meaning the book, of course. But I don't mind. I get Lobo in a minute, but I definitely don't mind him being in there. That's a welcome addition. But for the most part, it looks to be a very faithful adaptation, and that to me is exciting. I would love to see that adapted correctly. So I'm excited for that. It looks so good. It looks like they're going to take the adventures they go through. Maybe not all of them, but they go through quite a few adventures and quite a few planets, and that's probably going to be cut short to a certain extent. But those are going to go through exactly what they went. Very, what's the word? Not exactly, but close to what they went through in the book, which I love. The book is amazing. It's so beautifully written and drawn. It's such a good adventure. And seeing that they're going to keep it at least as faithful as they possibly can to the story that's in the book, I'm very excited for it. The addition Lobo is a welcome addition. Seeing him clearly, I couldn't help but smile. It looked amazing. It looked, oh my God, Jason Momoa was born to play this role. That sentiment has been parroted by so many other people, but I feel like I just need to reinforce that. I'm so excited. I love the relationship they have, meaning Supergirl and Crypto. That relationship is so, even in that short trailer, you can tell how Crypto is her everything. She loves Crypto. That's her. The point where like Clark is calling her. He's like, "Hey, I'm worried about you. You're never on Earth. You're always going off." He's like, "How are you gonna find your people?" And she goes, "That's the thing. I don't have people." And you see her and Crypto, and they're just watching TV together. They're like a club together. Being like she's dancing, and they're like carrying her and Crypto through the crowd. You can tell they that anything she does, any good thing, anything that makes her smile, she does it with Crypto. And I have my cat and I have my dog. And they're not pets to me. They're family. At the risk of sounding like the guy from Vin Diesel from Fast and the Furious, but it's true. They're my family. Much of my wife, much of my kids, they're my family. I love them. I take care of them. Um, and so I understand that feeling of this isn't a dog or a pet. This is my family. And like in the book, Crypto gets hit with a poisonous arrow, and that's why Supergirl agrees to go after the guy who killed her father. I think she says in the trailer he killed my family, which in the book he kills her father because even her, like in the book she tells her mom, "Hey mom, I'm gonna go after this guy," because she has like a couple brothers, but they're like idiots. And she's like, and her mom's like, "Go ahead and go. You've always been different. You've always been special. Your brothers are just kind of simple." And so she goes off to avenge her father. I don't know that's gonna be the same, or if he kills her whole family. I'm not sure how they're gonna play it here. But first Supergirl, when you find Supergirl, she asks her if she will help. First she says no, but then Crypto gets shot with the arrow, poisonous arrow, and then she's like, "No, we're going after the son of a bitch." And so that's another thing from the book they kept the same. Um, yeah, it looks amazing. Now, two criticisms I can't stand. The first one, people say, "Well, it looks like Guardians of the Galaxy." Fuck off. Like, fuck all the way off. Like, know what? I'm not even mad at you. I'm mad at your mother. She should have never had you. Like, you're a waste of breath. You're a waste of human existence. Look at comics throughout the generations. There's an aesthetic to everything, right? Every every setting, every type of comic, be it set in the jungle, be it set in New York, be it set in California, be it set in a fictitious place, Chicago, whatever, has an aesthetic to it that follows a pattern. The cosmic setting is no different. There's a certain aesthetic to it that is ubiquitous throughout every story set in a cosmic background to with a cosmic background to it, be it Guardians of the Galaxy, be it Silver Surfer, be it Fantastic Four, be it Superman or Supergirl, be it even Cosmic Ghost Rider. Um, there's a ubiquitous look to it that you're going to see in every single adaptation of it, of a cosmic story. And this is the book's the same way. It's a cosmic story. So to sit there and say, "Oh, those are Guardians of the Galaxy," this is a tired, lazy, and disingenuous take that you're just a waste of existence. The second thing, this is a little more personal for me. People keep criticizing, not people on both ends, people who are just the internet trolls and they hate everything and I want everything to fail because I'm a miserable straight man that can't get any women. Or the other side, the guys who are a little bit more progressive and forward thinking, who give everything a chance and enjoy art for art. They both kind of, one sentiment they both have, not all of them, but a lot of them have shared is the music. They say, "Oh, we're tired of this old 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s music. Play something a little more modern." I understand there's a large group of people who are fans of artists like Taylor Swift, Beyonce. I don't even know any of those. Probably the two biggest ones I know. Whoever else the new hot singer, popular singer is, I don't know. And not that I'm going to pretend I'm hip to the new music. I'm not. I you can tell. I don't. I mean, Beyonce and Taylor Swift have been around for. Beyonce been around since the '90s, so she's been around for the last 30 years. Taylor Swift been around for 20. These aren't necessarily new artists. They just still are very popular within culture. So anyone that came in even after them, I wouldn't know. And they are great performers. They are great. Like, I've seen clips of their shows, and I've heard people say this. They put on magnificent shows, wonderful shows. But there's a reason music from the '70s, from the '60s, from the '80s, even from the '90s to a certain extent, are still around. Because there's a soulfulness, there's a sincerity to that type of music that they don't have anymore. And there's a talent that they have that they don't have anymore. Look, I'm sure Beyonce is a wonderful performer. I'm sure Taylor Swift is a wonderful performer. I'm sure whoever else is, who's a girl from the Wicked movies, Ariana Grande. I'm sure she's a wonderful performer. Aretha Franklin was not a performer, she was an artist. Patti LaBelle was an artist. Michael Jackson was an artist. Prince was an artist. Earth, Wind, and Fire, they were artists. The Temptations were artists. Jackie Wilson was an artist. Marvin Gaye, Al Green, they were artists. Their music wasn't just for the sake of dancing or being a radio hit. They were artists. They were art. Ozzy Osbourne was an artist. Even going in to hip hop, Boogie Down Production. KRS One was an artist. Eric B. and Rakim were artists. Run DMC were artists. Coogee Rap was an artist. Big Daddy Kane was an artist. Nas is an artist. Tupac Shakur was an artist. The Jungle Brothers were artists. Public Enemy were artists. Looking at Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, Whitney Houston, even Boyz II Men, they were artists. LL Cool J was an artist. They cared about the art. Missy Elliott was an artist. Slick Rick is an artist. And there's a reason these old songs are still used. There's a reason that these songs from so many years ago are still used, because they have a soul. They have this power to them that newer songs just don't have. I'm tired of people saying, well, why does she listen to some Beyonce, or why don't they listen to some Taylor Swift? Because while they're great performers, their songs don't have the heart at these older songs, at these older artists. I mean, millennia from now, when we're all gone and humans are just a myth, a something to be studied, and whatever the next incarnation of life is on this planet, be aliens, be it androids, be it, I don't know, something else. The pinnacle of human art will be like Purple Rain, Thriller, I'm drawing a blank, but albums like that. It'll be an album from Boogie Down Production. It'll be Raising Hell from Run DMC. It'll be, Trouble Man soundtrack. It will be albums from Al Green and Earth, Wind and Fire and the Bee Gees. It won't be whatever this music is today. And I know I sound like a get off my lawn type guy, and maybe I am, but stop complaining about the music. I don't want to hear modern music. I love, and people get, well, she's young and she's a fucking Kryptonian. She's probably older than your great great grandmother. They age differently, you dumbass. So it would make sense that she's listening to older music, because she's not in her 20s the same way humans in their 20s. Kryptonians live a lot longer. I don't know if you read a comic book within the past 80 years, but they age a little differently. I'm just tired of this sentiment that, oh, well, older music is, when Sam was telling Steve what to listen to, he didn't say, hey, Steve, you got to listen to that new Beyonce album. You got to listen to that new Taylor Swift album. You got to listen to that new Kanye West album. No, he said, Marvin Gaye, Trouble Man soundtrack. That's the album you need to listen to. So, you know what? Shut the hell up. Older music is the best music. The soul, the passion, anyone ever experienced this will know what I'm talking about. Anyone, if you ever had your mom or grandmother make you a certain dish that you love, your favorite dish, and then maybe you moved away, maybe they passed, maybe whatever, and you try to go to a restaurant, and you get the same dish that they used to make. Let's use spaghetti meatballs, for example. You go get spaghetti meatballs. You're so excited. You eat it. It's not bad, but there's something missing. It's not quite as good as when grandma made it or when mom made it. You know why? Because that restaurant made it by the book. To put the proper ingredients, the proper amount, They cooked the pasta as it said on the um, box. They did everything that they they were supposed to do by the numbers. When your mom made it, when your grandma made it, they made it with love. And believe it or not, that counts for something. It does. When there's love and care put into the food, you can really taste it. And that's why when you go to a restaurant to try to taste that feeling of home, it never quite fully satisfies you. And that's the music made back in the day. We're made with a love and a passion. The music today is made for radio spins. It's made by the numbers. You got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 20 different people in the room, all spitballing ideas, all saying, well, we need to, the lyrics need to be like this, and the hook needs to be like this, and you have to say this like this so that it sounds good. They didn't used to do that. It used to be they made music with heart and with passion, with love. What they're making now is the equivalent of frozen food music. It's good, maybe in a pinch, you throw on a Kanye West or Beyonce or Taylor Swift song, and you nod your head a little bit. Okay, this is. But it's like a frozen meal. It's okay, but it won't really satisfy you. A home cooked meal made with love. That's older music. That will always satisfy. But anyway, that's my pet peeve. I hate people complaining about the music. Just don't complain about great music. Just here's the thing: Prince is dead. Michael Jackson's dead. Whitney Houston's dead. Al Green, Marvin Gaye, dead. Jackie Wilson, dead. The Temptations, I'm pretty sure all of them are dead now. Let's cherish the music they made because they won't be making anymore. Okay? So shut the hell up. Anyway, so I'll leave it on this. One last thing I want to do. I always like to recommend a book. Because people say it's hard to get into comics. It really isn't. That's just a myth. That's bullshit. It's not hard. Actually, it's pretty easy. You just pick up a book, you read it. If you like it, you pick up more. If you don't, okay, so what? This book is a DC Black Label book, Swamp Thing Green Hell. Basically, it's years into the future. Swamp Thing kind of been dormant. But the green is somewhat like basically rebelling against the Earth because of humans, and instead of like monsters up to like kill people, and so they bring Swamp Thing back because they need his help to defeat it. And so Swamp Thing come back like one last time to help defend against the Green. And you have him in here. Couple of spoilers, so if you don't want to know, just thank you for showing up. I'll see you next time. But if not, Constantine's in here, but also Animal Man's daughter. Which, if you know, this is by Jeff Lemire. If you know, he did a continuation of the Animal Man story. Excuse me, from what Grant Morrison did, and then his daughter grows up and she has the same powers he does, able to, have the, I guess, abilities of any animal in her vicinity. So they team up together because Swamp Thing is connected to the Green, Animal Man, or his daughter, Animal Girl. It connected to the Red, which connects to all the animals, and they team up together to set it right, to set Earth right, to protect people, and do one last good deed. And the book is beautiful. It is a DC Black Label, so there's violence, there's cursing, blood, gore, There's a older Constantine in here. You can see it. So, I mean, the artwork's beautiful. If nothing else, this is. I mean, the artistry in this is amazing. Dead Man's in here. You see Animal Man and his daughter. They kind of like a little flashback. That's Animal Man's daughter, kind of like now as a grown woman. It is just a book I can't recommend highly enough. If you like Swamp Thing, if you like the darker side of the DC universe, are you curious about it? This will show you them more in the later years. You know, I see Constantine's a bit older. Dead Man's a ghost, so he's still Dead Man. Animal Man's daughter. So this is a great book. Pick it up. You won't be sorry. It's a wonderful book. But I don't hear what everyone else thinks. Are you excited for Supergirl? I am. That trailer took my excitement level and shot it through the roof. I was, listen, we're nerds. We're going to go see it. We're going to buy the Blu-ray. Well, I mean, anyway, but seeing that trailer just made my excitement level go way higher than what it was previously. Oh, one last thing. I might do a separate video on this. Me and my son watched the new Invincible episode today. I'm probably gonna do another video on it, but damn, goddamn, that episode was great. Every episode has been great so far this season. Invincible is killing it. I'm gonna do another episode on that. I also want to talk about, because apparently there's a controversy with the last episode with God, what's his name? The Hellboy-esque character. I'll think of it later. But I love that episode, but apparently there's a controversy surrounding it. I don't know. So, but I love the episode. This new episode was amazing. Amazing. Oh man, yeah. I'll make another video about that. Maybe tomorrow. But I love to hear what other things. Are you loving Daredevil like I am? Is the new season meeting your expectations? Is it higher? Is it lower? And what do you think about it? Are you excited for Supergirl? I want to know. I want to know if you're excited for it. I am. What do you think? Do you love older music? Am I in a boat by myself? I'm used to that. I always have very strong opinions that seem to be outside of the collective opinion. So maybe I am. I'm willing to admit that. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one that listens to Jackie Wilson and the Temptations and Al Green and Boogie Down Productions and Metallica, pre the Black Album. Maybe I'm the only one that still listens to Eric B. and Rakim. Maybe the only one that still listens to Public Enemy. Maybe I'm still the only one that listens to Black Sabbath. Maybe the only one that still listens to Cool G Rap and Run DMC and I still prefer Aretha Franklin and Patti LaBelle and Whitney Houston over these newer pop stars. I would rather sit down and listen to Purple Rain and Thriller or The Great Adventures of Slick Rick before I listen to anything made recently. I'd much rather listen to DMX before I listen to these new rappers. I'd much rather listen to Nirvana before I listen to anything that's come out recently. It's just me. That's just, like I said, maybe I'm by myself. Maybe I'm in my own little world and I'm the only one that feels that way. But if that's the case, I'm fine with that. I'll enjoy my music by myself. Anyway, guys, if you're listening, thank you so much. Have a great day. See you next time.